March 24th, 2026. Well, the war continues, but I want to address something else about the legislative agenda first. I will make a few comments about the latest developments in the war. However, that varies from day to day, as you can see. On the legislative agenda, I think that the Republicans and the administration have just gone a little bit, are pushing in the wrong direction a little bit, in the sense that, well, first of all, again, I'm all for the elements that are in the Save America Act. I simply don't see much chance of it actually passing, because the Democrats don't seem to be deterred by anything. They're convinced that they're going to win because there's enough negativity about this or that, about the Trump administration or whatever, that they're just convinced they're going to win for whatever reason. And so they're not going to cooperate to any great extent on about anything. I mean, this whole thing, I mean, they think they can survive this whole, TSA lines and the shutdown and all that, and they'll be okay. They can get by without paying the Coast Guard, and that will be okay, even though the Coast Guard has nothing to do with the issues that they're dealing with. So my opinion is that they will continue to oppose the bill, and there's enough Republicans that won't end the filibuster. Let me just go through some of the possibilities here pretty quickly. I think you can say that McConnell, that the two ladies particularly won't, and I would say, let's see, is there anybody? There's a couple, three others that won't. I mean, for sure. I mean, these are hard line no's, I think. I would be really surprised if you really get the 50 vote. Tillis, I forgot that. So there you got it. That's four right there. If you don't get all one of those four, it doesn't happen. So why are we pretending we can do something we can't do? I don't get this. So why don't we just go ahead and, instead of debating it forever, and just go ahead and have the vote, have the Democrats kill it, and then we use it against them as a campaign issue. Second of all, let's say by magic we somehow could get it through. Let's say the Democrats were to cave. Well, then there'd be a court case which would probably prevent it from really taking effect until at least after the election anyhow. So I don't see, again, right now at the time when we actually have a majority in the Congress, that we're, expending what limited time we have left on the unachievable. And similarly, they seem to be determined on this Homeland Security thing. So I do have a suggestion, a very positive suggestion. And here's what it is, basically. Why don't we just do a reconciliation bill and fund the Homeland Security budget for certainly the rest of the fiscal year, probably longer than that, at least to the end of the calendar year, maybe. So maybe even into next year. That's something for the details of what you can get through the reconciliation process and so forth. But certainly the current problem can be eliminated with that. And while we're at it, since we have a war and the Democrats are opposing it, why don't we go ahead and take away their power of the purse and they want a $250 billion or something for war supplemental, or put that in it too. Both of these things are pure money bills. They don't change law at all. They simply appropriate money. And so we could get those two bills put in a reconciliation package instead of sitting around talking about something that isn't going to happen. Just pass it with a simple majority vote, just like we did the one big beautiful bill last year. So that's my suggestion. Let's get something done while we still can. And that way, that'll cut away the Democrats' power. And guess what? Since the law can't be changed, in terms of statutory due to that, we don't put any of those compromises we have with the Democrats in it any more than we need to. Just go ahead and pass the money, and we can go back to doing what we want to do with Homeland Security, with the Border Patrol and the ICE and everything, as well as having all the money we need to pursue the war till we can get a ceasefire. And if the ceasefire happens earlier, we can use the money then to, restock the military for all the ammunition and weapons that we've used up in this thing, so that we can maybe reestablish our capability in case something else were to break out. So, by the way, if you like these videos, please give me a like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Or, of course, you can always follow me on Rumble, because I'm posting there too. So, yeah, I think this would make a lot more sense than continuing to beat a dead horse here, or a dead donkey in this case. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Democrats are, except for Fetterman, are in no mood to compromise on anything. And we should be able to in fact, we probably could even get Fetterman's vote on this what I'm proposing, because we're just trying to get the money to fund the Coast Guard, money to fund, all the Homeland Security functions, the TSA, and so forth. So, and it's a simple idea, yet we've wasted, what, 4 or 5 weeks here debating these people, and nothing's happening. And I think this would get it finished quicker than about anything else. Meanwhile, of course, we're using ICE and agents to help with the lines, which is a good idea, I guess, for popularity. But remember, they're not going to be deporting anybody unless they catch them in the airport, maybe. But I guess there are some I hear that are slipping in that we have to deal with. So maybe that, in that sense, the ICE there might be helpful. But the main point I'm getting at is, and at least you won't have the whistleblowers, I don't think, or else they'll disrupt all air travel even worse. We'll see if that occurs. But the point I'm getting to here is that this is a way to actually make things happen, whereas the other is just basically posturing fundamentally. Yes, we should have something like the Safe America Act. I'm not sure I know every nuance of it, but the basic principles of actually proving citizenship and ending the transgender surgeries for underage people before 18 and so forth. I think that all those kind of ideas are pretty good, keeping men out of women's sports and rational things. Because after all, if men are in women's sports, then why do we even have a thing called women's sports? Just have sports with all people, right? Well, there's a reason they have women's sports, and that reason is the reason why men should be kept out of it by definition. It's kind of silly. I mean, nobody's really worried about women getting into men's sports, are we? Hey, women, if you want to try it, go ahead. So anyhow, that's kind of my viewpoint on that one, and I'm not trying to be undermining of Trump. I just think somehow he's dug in on something that he doesn't seem. Sometimes he seems to have trouble really understanding what he can and can't get done. But if he gets it done, then I'll eat some crow here. Okay, I'll say, wow, he really outthought me on this one. But again, with the 4 people I mentioned that are not going to end the filibuster to pass this thing, and I'm pretty sure they won't. And there's probably others I don't even know about. I'm not even sure that, a couple of few people I didn't think would cave on it kind of did, but one of them is running for election, has a tough primary. So that may be part of what's going on there. But the point is that is what I think we should do now, is actually get the money appropriated while we still can, so we can, at least for the rest of the year, continue doing what we're doing. And then hopefully we can get on with trying to possibly win the election in the fall, although it's going to be more difficult now with the oil prices going up, hence gas prices go up and so forth. And remember, this is going to affect perhaps food prices too, if there's a shortage of fertilizer or they have to pay more for what we do. And even if we get what we want at a higher price, what happens to people in the world out there? And let's don't get into that right now. I am kind of concerned about the overall global impact. So finally, as I promised, I would make some comments on the war. Well, of course, Trump issued an ultimatum, and then a day later he announces that we are having some kind of a negotiation with the Iranians, or some faction of the Iranians, and he doesn't want to say who that is because he doesn't want to get them killed. And the question is, who would actually go after them? The other Iranians or the Israelis? Oh well, I'll leave that aside. But at any rate, I think that he is talking to somebody. I'm pretty sure of that. And the real question is, do they have the power to deliver? Or it would make sense for a faction to simply talk to his representatives, simply to try to stall things. After all, what he's threatening to do would be a massive thing. But remember, they may have some ability to do a lot of destruction to the people in the Middle East and allied countries. And already I understand there is some sign of is this Bahrain? I think it is. There's some sign of insurrection, and we're having to bring Jordanian personnel in to control the situation because it's ruled by a Sunni, but it's majority Shia. This thing is a thing. Now we have, of course, the 2 Marine expeditionary units on the way, and that with all of their ships that transport them and provide their capability to deploy and so forth. So I don't know. It's unclear what they're going to actually do with them. Plus, there's elements of, I guess, the 82nd Airborne going in, and we know there's special forces that were involved in the operation in Venezuela. I think have been on site for quite a while. On my Carg Island thing, I did present a strategy of how that might be done, and maybe some of the other things we're seeing, maybe what do we call it, a diversion, perhaps. On the other hand, if we did take Carg Island by surprise, if you will, the question then is, do the Iranians bombard the thing to drive our people off the island and thereby blow up all their facilities there and pretty much knock their ability to export oil out of commission? I was assuming we might be dealing with somebody rational enough they wouldn't do that to themselves. But that's the downside of that one, and also the risk if you try to go in there, maybe you end up moving into an ambush or have aircraft shot down with heavy casualties, and that's another possibility. But for the moment, it looks like Trump is holding off for the 5-day period and trying to negotiate with somebody. And the question is, what can they deliver? I'm just wondering, can they actually deliver what we're demanding? But we obviously can't really agree to what they're publicly demanding either. Obviously, I mean, imagine trying to get the reparations bill through Congress, for instance. Not only is that too humiliating, I just think it's off the table. So we'll see. I'm thinking what might end up happening at some point is kind of a Korean War ends, so to speak, where in spite of all the big posturing, both sides just decide that continuing this is, that we've done enough damage to their nuclear program that maybe it's not a big threat anymore, and they don't really want to push the thing any further than they have either, maybe. Because one thing about the enriched uranium at 60% level, is that available to them? I mean, or is it under the rubble of the four-door site that we blew up with the deep, massive ordnance penetrators? I mean, it might have to be excavated to get to it, like a mining operation, or it might just be in some warehouse somewhere that we don't know where it's located, and that's what we don't know. I mean, or maybe we do know where it's located. I'm not sure. But those are the issues that the government is going to have to consider as they go forward on that one issue. So anyway, that's kind of my pitch on that, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's a fast developing thing. What you think you've heard one day is maybe not what's happening the next day. It does look like, to some degree, the Iranians are running a little low on ammo. So, but we don't know what else they might have hidden. So anyway, that's all for this time, and I'll, of course, be posting this as always on YouTube and Rumble, and the addresses of my social media accounts are in the description below, so all for now.